when you play a team out of form, that's sort of what you've got to capitalise on, and you sort of have to go ahead and do it. And I think that's exactly what we've got to have in terms of mentality against you guys. We need to hurt you while you're sort of hurting. And I do predict I predict a lot of goals. I'd say 3-2 is going to be my score prediction. Hello there, Spurs fans. It's Dan here from the Wolfpack, Wolfpack WWFC across social medias, and we've also got a YouTube as well. And I'm bringing you the Wolves side, Wolves perspective to the game against you guys tomorrow. And so what do I think about our season so far? I don't think we've had a very good season. I think it's very, very poor. Obviously, under Gary O'Neill, I'd go all the way back to Coventry when we obviously lost that FA Cup fixture at home, and ever since then really we've looked very, very poor. We've won games every now and then, but honestly there's been no consistency whatsoever under Gary O'Neill. So it was only a matter of time really where Wolves kind of had to bite the bullet and find someone else, and obviously from there really that's where our seasons sort of come alive, which is, you know, really, really amazing to see as a Wolves fan. You know, I go to every Wolves home game, so I've seen a lot of dross this season. So to see some good patterns of play just recently under our new manager Vitor Pereira has come in, lots of experience. Just seems to have a lot more about him. You know, I do think Gary O'Neill will be a great manager. You know, probably not in the near future. I think he needs a few, you know, championships, like a championship side, like take a championship side on. I actually think he'd blossom, and then obviously getting to a point where he's got a few more teams under his belt. I do think he'll be a Premier League manager, but I just don't think it suited him being at Wolves at this time. I think it was fine when we were getting wins left, right and centre, but the second that things started to look bleak and everything, I do think the cracks started to show, and I just don't think he was the right person to sort of be in the trenches with us, trying to battle out all these little points and wins here and there and whatever. It just wasn't the style that you see from him really. But yeah, I'm under a new manager at the moment. We're looking really good. 2 wins, 2 clean sheets as well, which has been really, really important. Obviously, fighting relegation hasn't been ideal, but you know, seeing 2 wins on the bounce, and seeing performances, not just the points coming in, but also the performances. The performances against Leicester was, you know, some of the best I've seen. Well, definitely the best I've seen all season. I mean, we've not had much to compare really, but Leicester and United, I mean, Boxing Day, that United game, the first half, we were unreal. I mean, I know Manchester United are obviously, they're suffering at the moment, you know, under new management, and there's a lot of players there that don't want to be there and everything. So it was always going to be a fixture that, you know, if we got under their skin and made it hard for them, we'd get 3 points, and ultimately that's what happened. We played them at our own game, and I saw some really good things, and that's really what we've got to take into this game against you guys, I think, because we've seen some really, really good things under Vitor Pereira. You know, he's brought out, he's brought some energy into the team, into the dressing room. There was a lot of negativity going around, and I think Gary O'Neill definitely lost the dressing room. And I think also you could just see it on the pitch, couldn't you? Players just seemed like they couldn't really be asked. You know, they would sort of get to a point where they had no energy. You know what I mean? So seeing the last two games under our new manager, I'm really positive. If I can sort of tell you as to what he's changed, I think the main one is he's let players have a go that didn't get any minutes under Gary O'Neill. He's basically playing our best team on paper, which Gary O'Neill didn't really do. He'd just play his favourites really, and he wouldn't change things up really. I mean, we saw all sorts of different changes, but no sort of consistency. There was no. You never knew what you were going to get. Whereas Vitor Pereira, I could probably tell you that, you know, we're going to set up the exact same way. We're going to play the players in the exact same positions. And, you know, a bit like your manager, really. I just feel like there's a lot more sort of, you know what you're going to get. Whether that be a positive or negative thing going forward, I'm not sure. But I do think that's really important because the players know exactly what they're doing when they're on the pitch. They're not looking around thinking, God, what are we doing? What's the plan? So yeah, the things I think he's changed really is the fact that our wing backs are a lot higher now. He's playing a system that he was playing in Saudi, which is a 3-4-3, almost like a 3-4-2-1. With a 9 being further forward and Cunha and Guedes almost like being a bit of being a bit adaptive really on who's going to be the 10 and who's going to be the wing on the wing basically. And then obviously to fill those spaces up, we've also got wing backs in Semedo and Ait-Nouri that bomb forward and back, you know, doing all the hard work. Midfield, Andre and João Gomez has been solid for the last two performances. We've actually struggled to find a midfield balance this season, and those two have sort of sat next to one another. Both do similar things, but they don't really get in one another's way. Like one does one thing, the other one does the other, and then it's a very adaptive system that just kind of makes sense. The back three was very interesting. Obviously, you had Doherty at yours when he was at yours as well, so you're very sort of familiar about him and what he offers. But Vitor Pereira has seen something in him that I don't think Gary O'Neill really ever saw, which is he's a right-sided centre back in a three. I actually think it really suits him because he's not really got the legs to bomb forward and back as much as he used to, but when he's needed to do that, Semedo sort of adapts with him and he bombs forward, Semedo stays back. Like I said earlier, very adaptive, but it's not like overly complicated, which is what I think Gary O'Neill was sort of distilling really. Giving too much freedom to players, which was a bit of an issue. So yeah, I think that's what you're going to see. I think you're going to see, you know, some our wing backs getting higher up the pitch, lots of interplay on the side on the wings as well, which we didn't do at all under O'Neill. And considering we've got so many very good wingers in our team that have just been sitting on the bench doing nothing, you scratch your head really and wonder as to why he hasn't been using these players like the Guedeses and you know it's a bit naive really. We've also seen Rodrigo Gomez make a few appearances off the bench. I mean, he had a fantastic game against Leicester, and he came off on the bench against Man United and showed a lot of courage to get forward and get into some threatening positions as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see, obviously, what's going to happen after Cunha's ban comes into effect. But at the moment, unfortunately for you guys, he's very much able to play tomorrow at the timing of this video, which obviously is a massive plus for us, but it's bad for you guys because he's in an absolute world of form at the moment. Like he's basically a world beater at the moment. Like other than Salah, really, I'd argue that he's that sort of caliber of player. To be honest, he's scoring near enough every game, and even if he's not scoring, he's creating chances and he covers every blade of grass. He's a very hard-working player as well, so that'll definitely be one to watch for sure. Favourite memory of this fixture? There's going to be a few. Obviously, they're all going to be wins. Obviously, seeing us win for the first time at your new ground was amazing under Nuno. When obviously Jota and Jimenez really shone and showed their quality. That's definitely up there. But then obviously the other one is the more recent one, isn't it, with the João Gomez, double away, and then obviously we also did the double when we played you at home as well with Lamina's late goal. So we've had some good luck against you guys, to be fair. And I do think you're at a point now where we could probably hurt you, to be fair. Obviously, you're missing a lot of key players, and you're obviously missing a lot of your centre-backs as well. So really, I think Wolves should capitalise on this, really. Similar to what we did against United. You know, on the day, United shouldn't be losing as easy as they did. They shouldn't be dominated as much as they are. But when you play a team out of form, that's sort of what you've got to capitalise on. And you sort of have to go ahead and do it. And I think that's exactly what we've got to have in terms of mentality against you guys. We need to hurt you while you're sort of hurting. I do predict. I predict a lot of goals. I'd say 3-2 is going to be my score prediction. I think it's going to be 3-2 to Wolves. I think there's going to be a lot of goals, because I do think that the worry is that Vitor Pereira, we haven't seen how his side performs under the Kosh, really. We've had some fairly straightforward wins under him so far. So it'd be interesting to see if we go behind how he sort of adapts what we've been doing and how he can strategically get us a point or 3 points out of that sort of situation. So it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. I do think if we do lose this game, I would say that that Postecoglou's got to go, really. I'd be very, very surprised if he didn't, after the performances you've had recently and where you find yourself in the table with the squad that you've got. You should be really pushing for Europe, and if you're not, then obviously there's a manager out there that can get the better out of your team, and we've seen that with our team, of course. So might be what you need, might be a new manager what you need, might be too early to tell, might be just waiting for January and getting yourself a few players in the door. Obviously, Daniel O'Leary's not the greatest guy, but he's not afraid to also put his hand in his pocket and spend money on players. Just hoping that they bring enough quality to sort of help you out. Other than tomorrow, hopefully we get a win tomorrow. Get us a little bit clearer of that bottom three. It'll be really, really helpful for us. But obviously you're going to want the 3 points as well to get you closer to the European spaces. So definitely a game that both teams will fight in, and it's going to be a good one. But yeah, guys, please check us out. I've been Dan from the Wolfpack, Wolfpack WWFC across social media, including YouTube as well. We're trying to hit, I think, 6,000 subscribers. We're relatively quite new, really, at the YouTube thing. We're more sort of advanced over on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, but we are working super hard on YouTube, so it would be really cool if you guys could go over there and give us a hand. And yeah, thanks very much. Good luck for the rest of your season. And yeah, sound, guys. Thank you for having me. See you later.